Ladies and gentlemen, I am most pleased to introduce Ms. Lauren Bramwell.
Hello and welcome, fall graduating class of 2014. Let me begin by saying congratulations. We did it. It wasn't long ago that we started this adventure with knees shaking and stomachs churning, yet here we are today. We survived, despite the papers, the lectures, the group projects, and the 12 billion parking tickets. We endured despite the ramen noodle diets, the all-nighters, and the copious amounts of caffeine we've consumed just to get us through the next day. That's right, we did it. We survived. We weren't kicked off the Boise State Island. Yet, it's important to realize that our undergraduate experience has been about so much more than just survival. It's been about growing, learning, and flourishing. We've built friendships, we've developed invaluable skills, and in the process, we've learned a great deal about ourselves. I, for one, have learned that I am really, really awful at logic. I also have a really unhealthy relationship with my snooze button in the morning. And when I get stressed out, I have this really weird urge to watch Disney movies and eat whole boxes of popsicles all by myself. But really, we've learned so much during this process. We've learned to ask questions fearlessly. We've learned to problematize our world, to recognize it in shades of gray rather than black and white. We've come to recognize the value of critical thinking and civic engagement. And most importantly, we've realized just how capable we are if we truly put our minds to something, even if that means retaking that honors logic class. So, graduating class of 2014, congratulations. Today is a day for friends, family, and celebration. Yet as Aldous Huxley wrote in his book, Brave New World, most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted. So today, we celebrate not only our opportunity to acquire an education, but we celebrate the people who helped us along the way. Today is a day to celebrate the parents who have let you stay on their cell phone plans for way too long. Thanks, Dad. It's a day to celebrate friends who have been by your side after one too many margaritas. It's a day to say thank you to that person in your life who made treacherous days seem somehow bearable. Today is a day to tell professors thank you for believing in us and investing in us and giving us support. And for some of you, today might be a day to tell kids at home thank you for understanding when bedtime stories were sometimes interrupted by papers and project deadlines. Yet today is a day to celebrate our support systems too. Because let's face it, it would have been a heck of a lot harder without them. So, thank you, family, friends, and teachers. Thank you for your help, your patience, your guidance, and your support. As tradition has it, I want to share some advice, and it begins with a short story. On a brisk afternoon at a high school track meet, I stood at the starting line for the 300-yard hurdles. As soon as I heard the starting pistol, I sprinted as quickly as I could. I was bound and determined to unleash my inner track star, which turns out was kind of non-existent. Yet with my eyes on the prize, I sprinted so fast that when I got to the first hurdle, I fell flat on my face. With bloody knees and a hurt ego, I continued. Upon reaching the second hurdle, with jello legs, I made the plunge, and I wiped out, yet again. At this point, I was definitely in last place. All my competitors were way ahead of me, yet I was bound and determined to preserve whatever dignity I had left. So I kept sprinting, I was running. And by the time I made it to the third hurdle, I literally had to stop, put one leg over the hurdle, and allow the other leg to follow. And I did this for the rest of the race. And I looked like an idiot. And finally, I crossed the finish line, where I was met with standing ovations from not one, not two, but 3 of our lonely observers in the stands. And in that moment, despite feeling incredibly stupid, I felt proud. For Frost, Robert Frost, 2 roads diverged in the woods, and he took the road less traveled. For me, 2 hurdles emerged in the track. I tripped over them both, and that really did make all the difference. So, graduates, where do we go from here? Or maybe the better question is, why is this girl standing on stage telling us her pathetic track story? Well, while we may have turned in our last papers and finals, there are still so many tests that remain. There are so many questions to be answered, so many hurdles, see what I did there? To overcome. Criminal justice scholars, psychologists, sociologists, how will you join efforts to overcome the hurdle of ever-rising recidivism rates? Political science majors, legislators, and policymakers, how will you help us to make citizens' voices heard in a sea of corporate personhood? Artists, designers, actors, writers, filmmakers, how will you continue to produce art and imagery that will help society engage in meaningful conversation that increases awareness of our common humanity? Business majors, our future CEOs, managers, and business owners, what role will you play in helping society to eliminate the glass ceiling? How will you decrease covert or sometimes invisible gender barriers in hiring strategies and compensation practices? Parents, educators, how will you spread compassion by instilling kindness in the hearts of children, teaching them to celebrate differences in people, ideologies, and ways of being? Perhaps more importantly, how can we, Boise State graduates, be a model to that ethic of kindness? No matter what your major or your discipline, how can we come together to make our community a better place? How can we better ourselves to make a larger impact on those around us? These, my friends, are just some of the hurdles that we have left to face. And it will make our race hard. And we will fall, maybe flat on our faces, yet we will learn, even if by stepping over them one at a time. And we can use those cuts and bruises as a motivating force for change. As Winston Churchill once said, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Or, as Taylor Swift once said, shake it off, So no matter where our journey may take us, we have to learn to laugh at ourselves, to not let our egos get in the way. We have to embrace every single opportunity to learn. We have to admit to our mistakes and persevere with grit and determination, even when the going gets tough. We have to learn to trudge on even when our legs are jello, and we have to find inventive solutions to what seems like insolvable problems. Finally, we have to be driven by passion rather than success. Otherwise, all those strides we take to get to the finish line will begin to lose meaning. Because in the end, it's not crossing the finish line that matters. It's the hurdles we overcome that really counts. So congratulations. Class of 2014, we did it. We have successfully made it past our undergraduate hurdle. Cheers to the many more to come.